I see Hemagori raising hand.
Sorry, Hare Krishna. By mistake, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kathamahim Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Anvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I welcome you all for our systematic study of Vedic scriptures. As part of that, we are going through Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 13, where we are understanding what is the real knowledge and who is the knower, who is the knowable, what is to be known. Uh, so these things, in that we are in the verse number 18. And before we get there, just was thinking how important it is for us to understand all these things. Mm. And this is also arrangement of Krishna that from chapter 18, sorry, 13 to 18, he is elaborately discussing about jnana. It is very helpful when we understand what we are doing. For that matter, Bhagavad Gita is a book of bhakti. If someone says, I am giving you a book of bhakti, people will say, hey, I don't want bhakti. Then why we don't want or why we need? So we also need to know. So and also how to realize it on a day-to-day basis, uh, which is also very important to know. So the 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita is telling how to work so that our consciousness is Krishna conscious. In that consciousness, we want to work. How? And then if we see what to do is mentioned actually in chapter 7 to 12. What is it? Pure bhakti, pure devotional service without any other intentions. Uh, and then chapter 13 to 18 are telling about why we should do. Hmm. For that matter, we need to know who we are, that we are not this body. And the way how we understand is by going through these verses. I think last week we were reading about soul, and also we were discussing or reading about super soul. What is that to be knowable? Hmm. In that way, we can understand what is our real identity. And when we understand what is our real identity, then we have a better chance of attaining success. Just like if you are um, taking part in a drama, if we know our real character, what is our real character is to be a father or to be a mother or to be a child or whatever. uh, when we know our real purpose, why we are on stage, then we can do justice. Similarly, in this world, when we also need to know our real identity. Without knowing our real identity, we can mess up the whole plan. Hmm. Mess up our own plan, mess up the Lord's plan. Uh, so in this way, it's very important to understand who we are and understand, are we all alone? Uh, how are we functioning? Just like when I go into another country, I need to know the rules and regulations of that country so that I can do my business properly. That I can, otherwise I'll be punished. So we are in contact with something different to what we are. I am this soul, mm, coming in contact with this matter. So I need to know how to work with matter. Otherwise, we'll get into trouble. So in this, let's continue reading from 18th verse. Someone would like to read?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Shakti Premataji, please.
Jyotisam api tach jyotis tamasa param uchyate jnanam jneyam jnana gamyam hridi sarvasya vishtitam. He is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge, he is the object of knowledge, and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. The Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the source of light in all luminous objects like the sun, moon, and stars. In the Vedic literature, we find that in the spiritual kingdom, there is no need of sun or moon because the effulgence of the Supreme Lord is there. In the material world, that Brahma Jyotir, the Lord's spiritual effulgence is covered by the Mahat Tattva, the material elements. Therefore, in this material world, we require the assistance of sun, moon, electricity, etc. for light. But in the spiritual world, there is no need of such things. It is clearly stated in the Vedic literature that because of his luminous effulgence, everything is illuminated. It is clear, therefore, that his situation is not in the material world. He is situated in the spiritual world, which is far, far away in the spiritual sky. This is also confirmed in the Vedic literature. Aditya Varnam Tamasa Paratstat Svetas Vatara Upanishad 3.8. He is just like the sun, eternally luminous, but he is far, far beyond the darkness of this material world. His knowledge is transcendental. The Vedic literature confirms that Brahman is concentrated, transcendental knowledge. To one who is anxious to be transferred to that spiritual world, knowledge is given by the Supreme Lord, who is situated in everyone's heart. One Vedic mantra, Svetasvatara Upanishad, says, Tamha Devam Atma Buddhi Prakasam Mumuksur by Sharanam Aham Prapadye. One must surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead if he at all wants liberation. As far as the goal of ultimate knowledge is concerned, it is also confirmed in Vedic literature. Tam eva vidit vati mrityum eti. Only by knowing him can one surpass the boundary of birth and death. He is situated in everyone's heart as a supreme controller. The Supreme has legs and hands distributed everywhere, and this cannot be said to the individual soul. Therefore, that there are two knowers of the field of activity, the individual soul and the super soul, must be admitted. One's hands and legs are distributed locally, but Krishna's hands and legs are distributed everywhere. This is confirmed in the Svetasvatara Upanishad. Sarvasya Prabhum Isranam Sarvasya Sarnam Prahat. That Supreme Personality of Godhead, Super Soul, is a Prabhu or Master of all living entities. Therefore, he is the ultimate shelter of all living entities. So there is no denying the fact that the Supreme Super Soul and the individual soul are always different. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Shakti Premataji. So, yeah, once again, here we go. Jyotisam api tas Jyotis. And one thing is that he is light. He is the one who is illuminating the source of light in all luminous objects. Whatever we see, yeah, that can be seen through light. And the source of that light is the super soul. And he is also, what is that? Tamasa, tamasa para uchyate. So tamasa means darkness, param uchyate. So is beyond the darkness of matter. Jnanam yeyam jnana gamyam. This is very, very important. And uh, um, to understand what is the purpose of all this knowledge, why do we want to acquire all this knowledge, is to attain him. Yeah. Jnanam Nyayam Jnanagamyam. So he is not only beyond this darkness of matter, but he is knowledge. So the Lord is knowledge himself. So it's not like, okay, they are indifferent. And he is not only that, he is also object of knowledge. Object of knowledge. And he is to be known. And what should be the goal? He is also goal of knowledge. If we attain anything, any knowledge, what there should be a goal. Hmm? Through knowing him, we can attain the goal of that knowledge. Otherwise, whatever we are acquiring is only nonsense. We may refer so many newspapers every day, so many magazines, we can gather a lot of information, but if it is not about God, uh, we think if that is the object of our knowledge, to know about politics, to know about current affairs and all. Yeah, I mean, I always feel how much pressure that kids, as we were kids, we were put in. Hey, you need to know that. You need to know the prime minister of that country, capital of this country. A lot of effort was, of course, one way. In that way, our brains have been polished to become more sharp and more active. But what kind of knowledge did we learn? If we would have spent the same time to sharp our knowledge, which is actually the object of knowledge about Krishna, about the spiritual transcendence, then we would have also attained goal of the knowledge more successfully. So in that way, we can see that Jnanam Neyam, yeah, Jnana Gamyam. So he is. And then what is that? Very important. This verse is also telling the location. Hridi Sarvasya Vistitam. He is present in the heart of everyone. So the super soul is a source of light in all luminous objects like sun, moon, stars. One uh, what we studied, they are luminous objects, non-luminous objects. Luminous object gives the energy to the non-luminous object so that it can shine. Uh, in that way, moon is non-luminous and sun is luminous, stars are luminous, and all this drama, right? Behind all this drama, what is the source of that light? Because definitely for self-luminous also, it's not that, oh, there is some kinetic energy that is there and this energy is pumping to shine and this energy is also being reflected. All these things are just trying our limited understanding through which we are saying, but still there should be a source of that light. Have anyone seen, I don't know, what is that movie? Mhm, Mummy. Yeah. Anyone seen? The director, when the hero enters into a cave and everything is pitch dark, and all of a sudden he turns one small mirror through the hole of a cave, and that light, huh? That light is going to get reflected into the other mirrors, and that way, that whole cave is lit up. I don't know if you have seen that movie.
Yes, no, Prabhu. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, Prabhu, I saw that.
I don't. Yeah, so it's so amazing, right? To see how, I mean, amazing. One light and that light getting reflected, and then everything is lit up. So that amazing thing of that one light is actually the Supreme Lord. Mm. So this is what Lord is saying. He is beyond. He is beyond the darkness. So can some darkness cover the sun? Hmm? No, there
No.
is no darkness that can cover the sun. Sun is always luminous. People are telling, hey, when the energy in the sun or this fireball, sun is, come on, just a fireball, and because of gases, this fire is being lit all the time. And once when these gases are over, gases are extinguished, then the light is gone. Okay, don't worry, the Lord supplies the gases what are required. Hmm? And I don't know how many light years we have to be awake or to live so that to see that. Anyway, not our capacity to really. But some theory can come up saying, oh, this is possible. I am sitting under a sun. Oh, no, I'm sitting under a nice um, sky lit up. And now I'm just thinking to see the sun and I'm just putting some parameters and coming with some conclusion and telling whatever I am thinking. Who am I to tell? Huh? Just if I become a professor of A or B or C, what is that? Is that enough to understand the nature? Hmm? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu, yeah.
Uh, People always try to say that, hey, come on, don't just believe it. Don't just, yes, let's use better means. If we cannot believe, let's use a better means. Uh, so this is very important to understand things as they are by approaching authorities, by approaching authorized books, by approaching authentic means of acquiring knowledge. Uh, and then what we could do, just take this knowledge. How do we test whether something is acid or alkaline? Are we going to drink acid?
Litmus test, Prabhu.
What will happen if we drink? Hmm? Dinner problem?
Yeah, drinking acid beyond a certain pH. I mean, if the pH value is so low, then it will burn the body.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is a way. Huh? But rather, if you don't take to that way, and then if you just say, "Hey, all these books are nonsense," yeah, basically, come on, I can also write. Some creative guy who was sitting all the time, he didn't have. These days, we have a lot of business to do. We have to go to parties. We have to do that. We have. Those days, those things were not there. It was not so advanced because the material world is not so advanced those days. People had no time. They were just sitting and writing books, and this is one book, and there is someone else who wrote some other book which is already contradicting. How can we then say this book or that book? There are 10 books which are contradicting, and now I don't better not to take, because accept them as some fantasies. Mhm. So with that test, uh, what is the uh, are we using just a, what do you call, uh, tissue paper or litmus paper for testing? Hmm?
Litmus paper, Prabhu.
We definitely know what paper is required. Now people may, of course, may say, "Hey, come on, litmus paper." Someone would have really did some test. Then only he came to this conclusion that litmus paper can prove that this is acid or. So definitely scientists are so great, because otherwise I will be testing all the time with tissue paper, and with tissue paper I won't be able to do what know what is what. Huh? So scientists are great. Don't we agree? After all, when we want to now know the difference between acid and alkaline, litmus paper is 100% proven. Means, so scientists have done great job. Yes. When we are accepting that, yes, they indeed did some through which we are able to understand. There are also other ways of how to prove hmm, certain things. Even not no need of even doing all these tests. There are still ways how to understand. Uh, just if someone has developed or invented a clock, doesn't mean that people were not knowing what is the day, what is the time. There were still other ways. One may say, no, these are all human created. Where is the intelligence coming from? Where is that knowledge is coming from? No, by accident. He was doing trial and error. One thing it worked, and then he started making it. Yeah. Uh, for trialing a success scenario also needs intelligence. And for trying a failed scenario is also requires intelligence. So for both, where is the intelligence coming? The Lord is saying He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge. He is the goal of knowledge. And here in the whole purport, we see that the super soul is a source of light, of sun, moon, stars. Huh? This establishes very important point that the Supreme Lord is not in the material world, but far, far away, beyond the darkness of material nature, material world. Huh? The material world we are in darkness. There is sun, there is when the globe is turning, there is darkness, there is knowledge, there is poor fund of knowledge, all these things. Lord is not in these limits. His knowledge is transcendental. The verses, one thing is telling the Aditya Varnam Tamasa Parastat, yeah, in Shvetasvatara Upanishad, it is clearly mentioned, yeah, that he is beyond the darkness of material world. Just like, okay, how did we accept the litmus paper, and we did the test and it worked. Now, what is that? Are we going to take one Shvetasvatara Upanishad paper and now apply the test? We should also know how to apply the test. Uh, how do we know that we are not this body? I think we discussed in the past. Huh? How do we know that I am not this body? Yamagori Mataji.
Yes,
Hmm?
Prabhuji.
How do you know? How do we know that we are not this body?
By getting the knowledge only, Prabhuji, from the scriptures, from
By
other
getting the knowledge. Okay. Others? Yeah. Thank you. Others? Hmm? Atishay Prabhu, do we agree that we are not this body?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. How do we say that?
Great saints have realized that, and they've told that, and it is also written in scriptures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
science experiments like near-death experience, and like how they were able to, even after the heart stopped pumping,
Hmm.
they were able to see what happened. So there's some scientific evidence too.
Okay. And how do you want to convince yourself all this? Yeah, there's a lot of information, as you said, is available, but there is very simple test that we can do to know it. What is the test? Vishal Prabhu. Anyone? Yeah. The Shastras are saying go through the principle of Neti. What is that? I am not this. I am not this. I am not this. Just like if someone is wearing 5 uh, um, coats, yeah, overcoats. Yeah, first he's putting a shirt and then putting a sweater or a pullover and then another. Uh, if he starts taking off one coat and says, is it this he? No. Yeah, come on, because he's able to take it out. Huh? He's able to take it out, right? Are we able to take out our body? Hmm? Now we are coming. So when this coat is taken out, so this coat and I am different. Agreed. After that, he is taking another overcoat. Then he's saying this overcoat and me, I am different. Then he's taking out his pullover. Yeah, he's able to say, hey, these are two different things, right? Pullover and I am different. And then he's also taking out his sweater, then shirt, and in that way he's saying, I am not this. I am not this. I am not this. So I at least I'm sure that I am not these things. So I am something else, right? Isn't it?
Ji Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
In that way, let's talk about hand. Have you not seen people who have lost their hand still live?
Yes, Prabhuji.
No? If someone's heart, yeah, we are talking about these days technology advancement. If heart transplantation is happening, so let's say that the heart is transplanted. Is he still not living?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, Tirnath Prabhu, right? Even after heart transplantation, also, yeah, the guy is surviving.
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
In that way, if you take any part of the body, if you just separate, still a person is living. He's not dead. But there, if something else happens, the body is dead. What is that? That is life. That is Atma. So definitely, our identity is that when we take out all these which are not me, these are only mine, as long as they are connected, as long as the soul is part of this body. But still, soul is not the body. Soul and body are different. Why? Because Krishna is telling the soul property, it cannot be divided. Body, no. Is body dividable or not?
Yeah, body can be divided.
Body can be divided. I don't know. Someone raised their hand. I don't see that. Is it Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, about the point you said about the heart, that heart replacement of heart has not changed the person, but the experiment with the brain has not been yet made. And if one changes the brain, then the person may not remain the same.
But still he survives. He may not remember himself. That identity crisis we have from beginning itself. But still he survives, right? Even if someone is in coma, where the brain is completely kind of, so to say, not active. Huh?
Mhm.
Consciousness level, subconsciousness level are affected, but still he is alive.
Mhm. So that life force is still there,
That
and
life force is still there. That I am still there.
mhm. So probably this identifying is
Hmm.
also with mind intelligence ego. It also can affect this identification, or
Yeah, definitely. When you are identifying yourself with matter, you are always covered. When you are identifying with transcend spirit, then you are awakening your understanding, knowledge. And that is what here Krishna is saying in this, that who is he? What is here, right? We are seeing that he is knowledge. He is knowledge. Whatever, everything what we are trying to understand is not knowledge, because it's not the knowledge. It's only related to matter. And scriptures are saying this. What did Krishna say directly? Hmm? Agnanajam tamam. So he's saying, if people are not having this, that is not knowledge, that is ignorance. Whatever everything else that we are considering today as knowledge, because how many universities do we have in the world? So many. How many specializations are there? So many. All these specializations, so much is telling us how to advance materially. Hmm? When we have toothache, sometimes we go, and then if someone will apply some enamel coating or paste, and they say, hey, now you can go home. No, the root canal needs to be done. Hmm? Yeah, you're getting the point?
yes, probably.
Anyway, so coming back here, we see that the super soul is the source of all light, of sun, moon, stars. Uh, this establishes that Supreme Lord is not within the material world, because the material world, how can, if I am there, Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu, can you charge sun? Nowadays we have a lot.
Sun charge.
If someone is, I think your specialization is in this, right? Batteries and electric charging, or is it not you?
Yes, probably.
Yeah. Can we charge sun?
Probably reverse.
It's the other way, right? Hmm.
True, probably.
So, which means the Lord is beyond the matter, because that sun which is giving energy is also powered up. Uh, so, definitely, He is beyond the material world, far, far away. And not only that, He is not in the limits of the darkness of material world. His knowledge is transcendental. Brahman, here the reference is Brahman is concentrated transcendental knowledge. To one anxious to go to spiritual world, knowledge is given by the Lord in the heart. Why? Because where is he sitting? Hridi. Hmm? Where is he sitting? The Lord is Hridi Sarvasya Vistitam. He is present. He is present in the heart. And from there he is situated, and then he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. Now the question also will come, how to know that the soul is in the heart? How to know that super soul is in the heart? Yeah. How to know that? Okay, till now, I mean, always we are thinking, okay, soul is the energy through which the body is maintained. Now we are talking about another soul. What is this role of this soul? And okay, is it not going to collide when two souls are in the same place? Or is there some chambers in the heart? Hmm? Just like how we have used little intelligence to understand I'm not this body, I'm soul. If we use further intelligence, then we can understand there is super soul in our heart. Huh? Of course, one is through scriptures, as Shakti Priya Mataji was mentioning, the sadhus who have realized, some yogis, through yogic practices they have seen. uh, that is also very elaborately explained in Bhagavatam, second canto, which is explaining if a yogi is meditating, um, doing a tapasya by doing what? By going inside himself, yeah? By traveling inside, not outside. Yeah, we are doing a lot of traveling outside to see that place, this place, and understanding where is the Lord. No, the Lord is inside our heart. So they meditate through the yogic practices. They can see there is super soul inside our heart. But now, come on, I am mundane. I can't even understand all these things. How to see? There is further. If we use little more intelligence, then we can start perceiving the super soul is present. And how? By going it further. Okay, when I am not this body, I am using intelligence. But who is giving the directions to our intelligence? There should be a director, right? Huh? Adirasa Prabhu, you are an artist, first class, best class. Huh? And then you get onto the stage. What will you do? A director has to tell you, right, what you have to do.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah. So are you independent artist? No, you're dependent on what? Directions. The director is going to tell, hey, Adiras, come from left side, then he is going to have his own script and he is going to give. So the super soul, yeah. So how to perceive the super soul inside a heart is through this higher intelligence. What is that higher? The intelligence itself is being directed. So the director of that intelligence is the super soul. And where is he present? He is so special. One way we are saying that he is beyond the material world. The soul is also our soul, yeah, the living entity, Jivatma is also beyond the material limits. Uh, but when we come in contact with matter, what is happening is then we are forgetting our self. Yeah, that's why we start thinking I am this body because of the influence of modes of material nature. But the Lord is not like that. Why? Because he is pervading. He knows in and out. He just like he in the purport here we see that our soul is perceiving only within this body, but the super soul is perceiving everything inside our body, outside our body. That's why we may know only pains that we are going through. That's why we are only concerned of our own care, comfort. Lord is present in everyone. He knows the pain of me, you, everyone. Uh, what is the proof? Krishna is saying when Arjuna is asking, how do you know all these things? I have been with you. Hmm? So in that way, we can see when we understand by this further intelligence. Yes, this is sometimes now. What are we calling? This is sometimes some sixth sense is telling me what to do. Yeah, that sixth sense is also very special. Why? I mean, literally don't take it as sixth sense. Yeah, then tomorrow you start telling, hey, in ISKCON they are talking about sixth sense. We are talking about that special direction that we have no clue why this is coming. The reason we don't understand why, yeah, but it is happening. It is the direction of the super soul, and this direction also happens only when Adirasa Prabhu on stage really want to hear the director, isn't it? Adirasa Prabhu, if you say, "Hey, I am a great artist, I can do whatever I want," will the director will tell you?
No, Prabhuji, no.
Hmm. In the worst case, he would say, "Hey, you are not fit for this 70 mm. You can go and do gully dramas." Yeah, this is something like not a heavenly platform, not a earthly platform. You go to a hellish platform. Hmm?
Yes, yes, yeah.
So, how to understand that the super soul is present is that this intelligence is awakened. But at the same time, if our intelligence, we engage ourselves in the mode of ignorance further, and we want to forget, or we are not curious, we are not interested to know, the Lord is also stops his direction. It doesn't mean that if the direction is stopped, director doesn't exist. Director is there. I don't know. Maybe today we are picking the scenario of a drama, but Dinath Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
I think one thing which I would like to share is, I think last week when we were in Simhachalam, we were fortunate to meet Srila Prabhupada's disciple Govinda Devi Dasi, Mataji.
Oh, okay. Mm.
So Mataji was there, and a couple of days she shared her experiences with Srila Prabhupada. I think 1960s, during the 1960s time. So exactly the same topic when they were all going on a walk on the Hawaii beach with Srila Prabhupada, and there Srila Prabhupada saw these baby crabs just came out of the shell, and they are immediately searching for food. Then Prabhupada asked, so what is that is guiding those mini crabs which just came out of the shell
Holes.
and
Yeah.
how holes, and immediately searching for food? How is it possible? Then
Mm.
Mataji said, instinct. Then Srila Prabhupada says, because scientists were unable to perceive this phenomena, like just like similar to a newborn baby just born craves for mother's milk. So scientists were unable to quantify this term, so they named it as instinct.
Yeah.
And Prabhupada says it is not instinct, it is actually the super soul guiding them what to be done at that point of the time. So yes, Prabhuji, when you were explaining this, I remembered this.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thought.
Yes. So usually we just brush it out saying instincts. Yeah, I have that instinct, this instinct. No, it is that there is a strong supporting statement from what Krishna is saying from the scriptures, from our own experiences. A person who is more and more getting absorbed in devotion, he will see so many realizations that are happening in his life. And instincts or accidents, coincidence, by chance, all these terms, yeah, we are not able to find an answer. That's why we give all these names. But it actually accrues all this towards the direction that we are getting from within. And I was saying something. Yeah, now the question is still about, okay, about heart. We are talking about is the super soul present in the heart? Okay, that goes further, yeah, because when we are talking about transplanting, the soul is moving. What happens to super soul? Super soul is so magnanimous that he is omnipresent, omniscient, all pervading. For that matter, whether he is inside the heart chamber, at the transplant happening outside or not, doesn't matter. He is having his established effective mechanism through which he can direct us. And then he is saying that I am in the heart. Why? Because heart is very, very dear. So what who was asking Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu about brain? Why the Lord is not staying in the brain?
Maybe it is not the center of the body.
Okay. Yeah. That anyway, our mind is not center, but is that the cause? Let's see. Jayashri Mata, you were to ask something? No, you're on mute. I can't hear. Or you?
Prabhuji, I just want to share my experience. When I was in dental college, so in first year, you have to read about anatomy of the body. So they give you heart, they give you a body, dead body. So I asked my anatomy teacher that where from this heartbeat come. So she told me that from SA node, from this side. So I didn't know that much during that time. So I asked her, but from where heartbeat, the whole body start because of heartbeat, because of heart. So she told me this muscle. So I just tell her, okay, just this muscle, but this doesn't have any button or any. Heart is just a muscle, nothing else.
Yeah.
And and she was like, that's all in the books. But I asked her, but how do you know this muscle? I actually put heart in my hand. This muscle
Yeah,
muscle starts the whole body.
yeah,
So I just remember this experience of mine.
yeah, yeah.
But she didn't
And
know. The books didn't know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, science. When we refer, we come to this that the whole, yeah, just like a car can be started by a key, right? And that key is the heart. And heart, yeah, Gaur Bhagwan Prabhu, why heart is not just because heart is more close, yeah, is center. Yeah, when we are hugging each other, mm, so it is like, yeah, we are embracing, and then the heart is touching the other's heart. Yeah, we may not say, oh, head. Yeah, rather, you see that we keep everything very close to our heart. Are we keeping everything close to our brain?
No, Prabhuji.
So heart is a reservoir or of emotions. Of course, we are not talking about the muscle, Jai Shri Mataji, where the heart, the muscle. Come on, can the muscle have emotions? No, it can only experience pain and pleasure, right? So we are talking about that a heart, which is actually not this physical heart. Well, when we are talking about there are these chambers, we are not talking about four chambers of heart where one is pumping blood in, blood out. We are talking about that core, which is uh, subtle heart, subtle heart, and that is the place of the soul and the super soul. And that is the gimmicks that happen even if the heart is transplanted, doesn't matter. Uh, but still, the person is still alive and he is able to experience. Yeah,
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
yeah,
Prabhuji, as we discussed, maybe in the last session, that soul has also like the hands, legs, and
yeah.
so soul has also heart, or
Soul has senses, and when I'm talking about subtle heart, it could be that it is, yeah. So I do not know if the soul has a heart, yeah, but soul has senses, and yeah, heart uh, is. Um, Before I say something, does soul has a heart? Yeah, good question. Let me check, yeah, because I only know that the sense organs, yeah. So when the soul is leaving into this spiritual world, right, then all the organs are spiritually manifested, having their own swarup, yeah, whatever his identity in the spiritual world is going to kind manifest. So how whether the heart is already there within the soul, which is getting the spiritual heart, I don't know. Maybe I'll ask someone. Yeah, good
okay,
question.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, very nice question. Or if someone knows some reference, yeah, okay, good. So then we go back to this. Yeah, we are talking about one Vedic mantra in Shvetashwar says, Tam Hadevam Atma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshur Vai Saranam Aham Prapadye. One must surrender. So after knowing all these things, what is the purpose? Is we want to get liberated from the material suffering because this body is not me, and why should I continue suffering, identifying myself with body? Huh? Dwarkavasini Mataji, when body is the cause of all suffering, we should give up the body, right?
Hmm.
Huh?
Yes, Prabhuji, witness.
Yeah. So which means called liberation. And how can we attain it? One must surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead if he at all wants liberation. If we don't want suffering, which is identified, which is coming, causing through this body, then what should we do? We should aim for liberation. As far as the goal of ultimate knowledge is concerned, it's also confirmed in Vedic literature. Tameva viditvati mrityum eti. Only by knowing him can one surpass the boundaries of birth and death. So these are some references to understand that Yeah, first thing is we should have a clarity that I am not this body, I am the soul. And not only that, we should also understand the super soul is present and to what capacity. This is also we understand. He's situated in everyone's heart as a supreme controller. We may not think that, hey, I am the owner of this body, I can do whatever I want. How much can we do? Huh? Are we able to see beyond what we can see with our naked eyes? Are we able to see what are we doing? Is it correct or wrong? Huh? So there is a supreme controller. Now the question comes, when there is a supreme controller, what about our free will? When the Lord has promised free will, then well, why is he as supreme controller? The supreme has legs and hands distributed everywhere, and this cannot be said of individual soul. Therefore, that there are two knowers of field of activities. The supreme controller is uh, pushing button only when required. He is supreme controller. Let it go on and on. Yeah. Anyway, there is a whole process of karma cycle that whatever you are doing, you will reap, and all these things are happening. That whole cycle of karmas, what is happening is control, and that is done by whom? Supreme controller. We are not saying, hey, I can slap someone and he will not slap me. I have full control. I have my bodyguards who will protect me. No, the supreme controller has complete control that he will enact whatever the suffering that we have caused will be reaped. Therefore, that there are two knowers, and one's hands and legs are distributed locally, but Krishna's hands and legs are distributed everywhere. This is confirmed in Shvetasvara Upanishad, Sarvasya Prabhum Ishanam Sarvasya Saranam Brahat. That supreme person of Godhead, Super Soul, is Prabhu and Master uh, of all living entities. We are not even master of our own self. We are even becoming Godas. We are servants of our senses. But Super Soul, the Paramatma, Parameshwar, he is the Master, Prabhu of all living entities. Therefore, he is the ultimate shelter of all living entities. So there is no denying the fact that the Supreme Super Soul and the individual souls are always different. So they are different. They will be different. They were different. They will be different. Okay, if we can go through, are there any points to discuss in this? Otherwise, we go to the next and stop there. And who would like to read this verse? It's very nice.
May I, Prabhuji?
Yeah, please.
Iti kshetram tata jnanam gneyam choktam samasataha madbhakta etad vignaya madbhavo bhapadhyate.
Yeah.
Translation. Thus, the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Purport. The Lord has described in summary the body, knowledge, and the knowable. The knowledge is of three things: the knower, the knowable, and the process of knowing. Combined, these are called Vijnana, or the science of knowledge. Perfect knowledge can be understood by the unalloyed devotees of the Lord directly. Others are unable to understand. The monists say that at the ultimate stage, these three items become one, but the devotees do not accept this. Knowledge and development of the knowledge mean understanding oneself in Krishna consciousness. We are being led by material consciousness. But as soon as we transfer all consciousness to Krishna's activities and realize that Krishna is everything, then we attain real knowledge. In other words, the knowledge is nothing but the preliminary stage of understanding devotional service perfectly. In the 15th chapter, this will be very clearly explained. Now, to summarize, one may understand the verses 6 and 7 beginning from Mahabhutani and continuing through Chetana Dhritihi. Analyze the material elements and certain manifestations of the symptoms of life. These combine to form the body or the field of activities. And verses 8 through 12 from Amanitvam through Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam describe the process of knowledge for understanding both types of knower of field of activities, namely the soul and the super soul. Then verses 13 through 18, beginning from Anadimat Param And continuing through Hridi Sarvasya Vishtitam describe the soul and the supreme lord or the super soul. Thus, three items have been described: the field of activity, the body, the process of understanding both the soul and the super soul. It is especially described here that only the unalloyed devotees of the Lord can understand these three items clearly. So, for the devotees, Bhagavad Gita is fully useful. It is they who can attain the supreme goal, the nature of the Supreme Lord Krishna. In other words, only devotees and not others can understand Bhagavad Gita and derive the desired result.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So this is a summarizing verse of what we have discussed from verse number 1 till 18, and different subject matters that are discussed. And this is the conclusion, that Bhagavad Gita is our jnana source, so that we can understand all these things. Otherwise, there is no chance. And the other qualification to know is what? To become a devotee. It's not that Bhagavad Gita can be understood by challenging spirit. There is no question we can understand. We cannot even uh, forget about diving deep. We cannot even touch the surface. So the qualification is what? Devotee. And this it is that who can attain the supreme goal, the nature of the Supreme Lord Krishna, is fully understandable by taking shelter of Bhagavad Gita. In other words, only devotees and not others can understand Bhagavad Gita and derive the desired results. What is that? Jnana Gamyam. After all, when we want to acquire knowledge, that Gamyam cannot be attained if we are not devotees. That's that's it. Thank you very much. Anything anyone to add? Share or have question? Is clear? Yeah. So we are prepared, yeah, to emphasize the importance of Bhagavad Gita. Or
Hare
we
Krishna
can just,
Prabhuji.
yeah.
I mean, I just got this very basic question that, yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Krishna himself says that, okay, Bhagavad Gita can be understood completely by devotees.
Mm.
Uh,
How to become
but
devotee? Mm?
yes, Prabhuji, like sometimes, like whenever we go for book distribution, like sometimes we meet our friends who are not connected to spirituality. And
Mm-hmm.
when we offer them Bhagavad Gita, yeah, I mean, on goodwill, they take it. But I think the motivation from, or the essence is that maybe one fine day, I think anybody can get connected. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how to interpret this motivation, Prabhuji? Yes, I mean, Srila Prabhupada always suggested or stressed upon the need of
So,
book distribution.
so what you're saying is that if one gets Bhagavad Gita, what is guarantee that they'll take it? Huh? Is that
Yeah.
the question? Or
What is the, I mean, the guarantee that whether they open it in their home or whether they keep it forever in the, in
the
their.
beauty, yeah, the beauty is that if someone is taking, so
Hmm.
that itself is first step. Yeah.
Hmm.
And if he's opening the book and reading, that's even more advantageous. If it is just lying, yeah, usually we are not talking about some novels. Yeah, we're talking about special book and Bhagavad Gita. So it has its own um, way of how to attract person in a right time. Yeah. So there are so many examples that, yeah, even though the book has been accumulating a lot of dust in our rack, one fine day something happened in my life and the book is already there. Yeah. So the book is going to kind of indicate, hey, I am here. Yeah, you just come to me, and then people open the book and then the life is completely transformed. Yesterday, Parth Prabhu was saying was about earth. If someone is completely in distress, they don't know, huh? And at that time, if Gita is there, yeah, that is savior. Yeah, this is one thing. The second thing is, of course, we may think, hey, it's a religious book, so having it, okay, we have this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam in our altar. Yeah, we do a lot of puja with kumkum, aarti, everything. Yeah, that also gives some sukruti. But when we open it, then we see the light of it, and then we get more benefited. Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
regarding this, I would like to share one pastime of some devotees. So, 30 years back, one couple they bought the Bhagavad Gita. After that, they beget children. He grow also. So he took that Bhagavad Gita and he became devotee. So once he became devotee, so their parents also converted, like become devotees by preaching him. So having Bhagavad Gita, definitely it will benefit us.
Yeah, nice. Maybe Jayashree Mata, you also would have heard already so many such things about Gita, changing lives.
Prabhuji, I have also seen some examples
Yeah,
where people, they had the book for a long time, and one day they picked up the book and their life changed. Now they are devotees.
yeah. I even know there was a guy who has stolen Bhagavad Gita. Dinath Prabhu.
Mhm.
He's an African who stole
Okay.
Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, he has a. I mean, I shouldn't say the name, but he has this. He himself can tell. He told this is not that. He was sharing his life transformation experience. That he is yeah, he was prone to this kind of robbing things, and finally he found this book and he stole the book. And then after stealing, somehow one fine day he read, and then he became devotee complete. Yeah, he left everything and became a devotee. He he had no previous educational background, and then he even came to Bhaktivedanta Institute College in Radhadesh, where he pursued spiritual courses.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. I think the glories and magic of Bhagavad Gita, I think, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yes, Prabhuji, I have also a similar experience. Actually, I was on mute. I was told, but I didn't know that I was on mute.
Hmm. Yeah.
I have also so experience so many, but one experience of mine that when I was in school, so my mother invite my school friends to my house for prasadam and all. So so one of my friend she take Bhagavad Gita,
Hmm.
and usually on birthdays and on parties they eat
Distribute.
prasadam also. So in college she was going to some Miranda House in Delhi University. So she was um, with not good friends. She was in company with the not good friends. So
Hmm.
she was indulging in alcohol and all.
Okay.
After this she had a break, a heartbreak also. So
Hmm.
she took this Bhagavad Gita which my mother gave to her, and she
Okay.
read, and then
Okay.
she becomes devotee.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so this whole uh, Bhagavad Gita is actually I just saw from my eyes that has a magic that
Yeah.
actually, and now she is a full-time devotee in
Yeah.
Delhi.
Yeah. 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 I mean, Dinath Prabhu, there is going to be a seminar, a week full seminar, because who is this Prabhu who is coming to Gauradesh? Naveen Nirath Prabhu. Yeah, expert book distributor. So the
okay,
Sankirtan
Prabhuji.
devotees will have ample number of examples how the books
Hmm.
transform. Mm.
Yes,
And
Prabhuji.
that is the inspiration for actually going into the streets and still distributing, because
Hmm.
distribution is not easy. Yeah, if you give 100 people, maybe two people will take,
Yes,
because they
Prabhuji.
don't know worth of it. But because two people are taking, that inspires them to go on street. At
Hmm.
least two people are taking.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And yeah, on a good note, let's close the call and be prepared for kirtans that are going to happen in our temple, get more strength and understand Gita. Yeah, because to understand Bhagavad Gita, I think, as all of you know, n- the criteria for joining these sessions is that at least one round everyone should, whoever participating there, they should at least do one round, because the subject is not so easy, not in our capacity to understand. It's only the grace through which we can understand. And chanting is the best way to purify ourselves, to get that grace and understand Bhagavad Gita. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna.